Before we start, keep in mind everything is based on my personal opinion and the games I've played thus far. Alright, before you strike me down, this is the peak multiplayer game experience. The single player is kinda lacking both in story, characters and content, but is not bad by any means, especially with its risk and reward system. The real reason this game gets a number 5 spot on my list is because of its incredible multiplayer mode, specifically one called Lockdown. I won't spend too much time explaining it, since I already made a full video on it, but it is a 30-minute player versus environment extraction mode which is super chaotic and fun. The only real complaint I have is the physics. They are just as inconsistent as they've been for pretty much a decade in the NFS franchise, although some of the DLC cars have really good physics, so let's wait and see how they fare in the next installment. This one is a little bit more complicated. You could take Mario Kart and Project Gotham Racing with multiplayer elements from Call of Duty and the Aero interface design from Windows 7 and you'll get this. Blur has very realistic driving physics for what it is. These cars are very heavy and you will spin out, but that is a good thing. Blur is a combat racer. You don't just drive fast, you are actively thinking how to position your car strategically to take down other racers and also dodging other power-ups. It is like Mario Kart, but balanced and without luck involved. You always know what power-up you could get, and there is always a way to counter every single one. Graphics wise, it is absolutely beautiful. The game is usually dark and gritty, but with this blurry, vibrant ambient lights around and UI that is so late 2000s, it is beautiful. It also features a very good multiplayer mode, but you'll have to go through a lot of hoops to get it running on PC these days. Pro Street is my favorite looking racing game of all time. The graffiti is just awesome and it looks really realistic actually. This game is really difficult and it has a great career mode. Your goal is pretty much climbing your way up the ladder and beating the race kings. Drag, drift, grip and speed and then everything combined. While on paper this game is really simple, it's simply fun. The physics are like Most Wanted and Carbon, just twice as fast and more realistic. Tons of great little details too. Amazing customization with autoscope, having to pay to fix your car, the single best sense of speed, and debatably the best soundtrack out of any game. Not really much to say and nothing to complain about. It is the peak of black box Need for Speed. This game's physics are simply made for speedrunners, I swear. If you only care about perfecting your time, this is the perfect game for you. The cars sort of feel like Ridge Racer. They are incredibly heavy, but the handling is so on rails, it is incredibly fun. Throw racing lines out the window since you will be pretty much drifting in a straight line. This is the second and last combat racer on the list. You can either play as a cop or as a racer, with power-ups varying in between them. The power-ups are again super balanced, they aren't randomized like in Mario Kart, nor can you get more during the race. Each player will have a set amount with a cooldown in between, the most fun being the Racer Turbo power-up. This game has an incredibly beautiful map. It looks absolutely incredible for 2010 on 7th generation hardware. Soundtrack-wise, it is definitely in my top 3. Amazing rock, drum and bass, and electronic dance music. The multiplayer is also great seeing as it is a Criterion game. No real complaints here. Great cars, the best physics in the franchise, gorgeous map, and a great multiplayer make this easily the #1 Need for Speed game for me. Quite a boring choice, I know, but it more than deserves it. It is the perfect blend of everything in a racing game. Distinct visual style, amazing physics, plenty of content, great customization, great racing, and an actually good story single player mode. And probably the best soundtrack out of any game. This game's music had such an impact on me, I started experimenting with music production. It's that good. I can't really say anything bad about it. You could say the map wasn't as freeing as some of the new Horizon games, you couldn't just drive everywhere off-road, but this was the first title and it was on the Xbox 360, so I guess it is understandable. I can just keep going on about how good this game is, but honestly it deserves its own video. Hopefully I helped you find some new racing games to play, and if you like this video, make sure to get subscribed because I post racing game and car videos every week.